Here are 5 things that I don't do as a homeschool parent. And by the way, if you have some things that I don't mention that you don't do, make sure to leave them down in the comment section down below so others can get some ideas of what they have to look forward to if they become a homeschool parent. And you can leave simple things too, like you don't have to wait in the car line. But let's get started with my things, 5 things that I think are amazing that I don't get to do now that I'm a homeschool parent. So the first thing that I don't do is I don't ever look at the public school calendar. I don't even follow it. In fact, if I feel like I need to take a day off, I take a day off. If I feel like doing school on a weekend, I do it. That doesn't happen too often. So here's the thing. When you homeschool, that public school calendar is just, it doesn't exist. So for example, in the state of Florida, let me just throw this out there because I am from the state of Florida. I do homeschool evaluations. And one of our laws in the state of Florida is that we have a yearly homeschool evaluation, and it happens on the anniversary date. And that anniversary date can be anywhere from like January 1st to March 1st to November 1st to August 1st. And it kind of confuses some people here and there because that is your anniversary date. It could be in the middle of the school year, it could be at the beginning of the school year, and it doesn't coordinate with the calendar at all. But as a homeschool parent, we don't really need to look at that calendar and ever have to feel the need to follow it. Now, it is traditional that a lot of parents want to keep that tradition, and they will have their first day of homeschool in August, around the same time that the public school system is doing and private school system is doing their schooling. A lot of homeschool co-ops, a lot of homeschool home education programs will start school during the same time. It's tradition, it's easy because that's just kind of how the function of our country is. But you don't have to. You don't ever have to use it. You could take the whole month of December off if you want to. Or just like, starting that week of Thanksgiving, take that week off and like 6 weeks off, take it off. And then just work through May, June, July. I'm telling you what, in Florida, like July, I don't want to be outside anyway because it's ridiculously hot. Let the tourists deal with that. I'm going to stay home and homeschool my kids and in the AC. It's much easier. Because then in the fall, I can go outside and enjoy summer. Okay, number 2, I don't stress out about standardized testing at all. Standardized testing doesn't really determine whether or not my kid is smart or not. That's kind of like this mentality when you get into the public school system. When you take that standardized test, so as for example, for a lot of states, 3rd grade seems to be like the big standardized test because if you don't do really well, you have to repeat 3rd grade again. It's kind of like a milestone marker for a lot of people. We don't have that in the homeschool world. In fact, if our kids don't do good on the standardized test, what we do is we look to see, okay, what didn't they do well? All right, they didn't do well with social sciences, probably because I didn't teach it this year. Or probably because what they think is important for social sciences is not really what I think is important for social sciences at this age. And guess what? Who really determines what your child should be learning in social sciences? Should it be the government, the benchmarks, or should it be you, the parent's decision? And what determines who's smarter? Like really, you see what I'm saying? Same with science. Now, I understand reading and reading comprehension, that kind of stuff, you can kind of like look at it and be like, okay, you know what? We struggle a little bit with comprehension. Guess what? We're going to work on that a little bit more. But I don't stress out about those things like I would if I was a parent that has a child in public or private school. The weight of standardized testing is so huge. There's so much pressure. Their kids are competing with each other. It determines what class they go into and what social group they become a part of. There's so much pressure behind those standardized tests, and it's not worth it in the homeschool world. Nobody cares in the homeschool world. Not even the government cares. They try to make you think that they care by making it a requirement to do that, but really, like, they use it for data. I mean, you know what? Tell me if you feel the need to share me your story on standardized testing as a homeschool parent. I would be very curious to find out. I could go on and on about standardized testing and how people put so much weight and value into it when really it's not necessary. Now, when it comes to SATs and ACTs, if it has to do with college and getting scholarships in college, okay, yeah. But you can test. You can learn how to take that test. Now, here's another thought to just throwing this out there, test taking in general for homeschooling. It's good practice. It's good to get used to, but don't carry the weight. I think I made myself clear. Let me know questions. But I'm going to move on to number 3. I do not stay inside all day long. Okay, you're thinking, well, when my kid was in public school, I got in the car and I drove to the school and then I came back. Okay, let me tell you what. I was a teacher in the public school system. I was a student in the public school system. And the first time I realized what fall was and what spring, ooh, that's the big one, spring was when I quit teaching. I was 32 years old and I discovered spring for the first time. Why? Because I wasn't cooped up in a classroom all day long. I know kids get PE for 30 minutes a day, maybe an hour a day, but that's it. Or you know what? They walk to the bus station or they walk back. Bus stop, okay? Or it might stop in front of your house. I don't know. Either way, they're not outside much. And nowadays, they're not outside even more because they're inside doing homework and playing on video games a lot of the time, unfortunately, because we have a tendency to not kick our kids outside to go find neighbors and explore the world around them. But as homeschool parents, you can kick your kids outside the house and you can follow them and you can help them explore nature. You can go on walks, you can go on nature trails, you can go on hikes, you can just, like I said, just walk around in your backyard, okay? And take your time with things, like pick up a flower, count how many petals, play with the grass, make little grass creatures, okay? Take your shoes off, go barefoot, touch grass, all the things, all right? Explore the world around you and take your time doing it. You're not rushed. Maybe running. Maybe they love running. Maybe they love biking. Maybe they love hiking. Maybe they just love being outdoors and walking around. That's a love that they can develop from an early age that public and private school may not provide for them. So, number 4, I don't worry about how other people treat my kids. And that includes people, that includes kids, that includes just pretty much anyone around them. So when you send your kid off to public or private school, you don't know what they're going to be doing for 8 hours. Like, you don't know all the little details. You don't know how their teacher is treating them. You don't know how their peers are treating them. You don't know what's going on. And there's always this mystery. And sometimes it's like, great not to know what's going on because then you're, but you could be blindsided. When you are a homeschool parent, you, especially when they're little, you can see all of their friends, you know all of their friends, you know all their friends' parents, you're friends with their parents, and you socialize with them, and everybody's like a little community. If somebody does something that's inappropriate, you can correct it immediately. You know what's going on with their social group. You can actually control who their friends are and keep them away from certain people that are quote-unquote toxic. You can do that. Now, of course, as they get older, you want them to develop that independence. You don't want to continue to be helicopter mom as they get older because then they're going to resent that. Number 5, I don't worry about what grade they're in. This is a big one for so many people. Grades are something that is created by the public school and private school system to put them into little boxes, into little categories. It's almost like a cattle call, kind of pushing them through the system, and that's how they do it. With homeschool, even in the state of Florida, they are not required to share their grade level with the superintendent. That's actually a law in the state of Florida. And I'm sure other states have very similar laws, like they don't even have to report anything. But I understand when it comes to their academics developmentally. Guys, when they turn 12, 13, their brain changes and they're able to understand things very differently. But if you teach those things that they can now understand very differently to younger kids, it doesn't normally work because they're not ready developmentally. But here's the thing, there are kids that are. But there are kids that are slower in learning those things developmentally too, and in different subject areas. So, for example, your kid may be brilliant when it comes to comprehension, reading, writing stories. I mean, they can write a story, but math, change it up. It goes both ways. They might be brilliant at math, but when it comes to comprehension, they just can't. They can't. Not saying that they won't ever be able to. Point is, they're at different levels in different subjects. So, for example, they may be using a math curriculum that is 9th grade level, and they may be using a, English, language arts, comprehension, reading at a 12th grade level. Okay, so I have a child who is doing their language arts at a 5th grade level, but their math is at a 4th grade level, but their science is at a 6th grade level, and their social studies, geography is at a 6th grade level. They may finish their language arts in December and move to a 6th grade level in December. Their math actually is going to switch over to 5th grade in a couple of weeks. What grade are they in? I don't know. What? There are certain situations if they're going to do sports, for example, and they're going to be competing against other private and public schools. What's so amazing about homeschool is we have that opportunity through different programs where homeschool groups can get together. They can do all the paperwork, submit all the things that need to be submitted for them to compete in big competitions. So for example, all of my kids do cross country this year. They have been competing against kids in private school and public schools. It's amazing that they can do this as a homeschool group. When they do this though, there's paperwork that we have to fill out where we have to put their grade level. And when we do it by age. It doesn't matter where they are academically because of course all of us are like, huh? Right? If my child is 13 years old, they're probably going to be in 7th grade. If they are 15 years old, they're probably going to be in 9th grade or 10th grade. Now, there's a lot of stuff that you guys may have questions about, so leave them in the comments below. And if you like this video and you think it'd be great for your friends, share it. Give me a thumbs up. When you guys actually give me a thumbs up, it actually tells the algorithm to share it to more people. So I would love it if you guys did that. Also, those of you guys that are thinking about homeschooling, you have a lot to look forward to. But don't forget to subscribe too, and thank you guys so much. Check out this video on standardized test because someone actually recently asked me about this. So I'm plugging it right here again. There you go. You want to know about it? There you go. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.